Welcome to the 11th episode of the Dairy Experience podcast. My name is Jake Connor and I'm a dairy farmer from South Australia and also have a sales advisory role working at Laley Australia. And today I'm the host of today's episode, Robotic Milking, taking off in South Australia. In this episode, we would like to welcome both Heath Williams and Ash Jacobs. Welcome, guys.
Good to be you, Jake.
Let's start with you, Heath. You're a dairy farmer from Meningie in South Australia.
Yep. So yeah, we have a bit going on. We've got two Laley A5s on my farm, which in total is around 1,700 acres. But we've just got about 95 cows milking off of 500 acres of that currently. The rest of the property is silage, hay production and grazing to support the family farm, which I also work on with my parents. So yeah, we've got the two Laley A5s. Started off with one in February 2024. Just had 95 crossbred heifers that we purchased 12 months prior, and mating them to start calved down in February, ready for startup.
Even that's a bit of a unique situation. A, purchasing a whole herd of new cows ready for the startup, but B, carving in a whole herd of heifers only.
Herd of cows for a new dairy startup, but also having a whole herd made up of only heifers.
Yep. It's it wasn't that bad actually.
Yeah, no wonder yours walked out the gate. Like we were just talking about.
Well, you didn't start. They were sort of coming in as they calved down, so the startup was pretty easy. Hate to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did actually purchase 10 cows that had been milked conventionally from a couple of mates, and they were a little bit more challenging dealing with them than it was the first calving heifers. Although, yeah, the first calving having to bring in new heifers. So I don't know what we're sort of up to, close to 90 new heifers that have come in, and yeah, set them up on the robots. Took a bit of doing, but they've definitely taken it and run with it and doing their own thing, compared with the conventional cows.
I guess it's good for the long term. Not only are you starting with a young herd of cows, but you're also starting with a herd of cows that have known nothing but milking through robots.
Yeah. So it's and some of the early on when the cows were fresh, and even still now, like some of the heifers, like we're nudging on 40 litres, and doing 5-6 visits a day too. So yeah, it's they definitely sort of took the ball and run with it. So I thought that I would cull more than I did. Just being cows that I've bought through a stock agent, with sort of no real history behind them. I thought I'd cull more than I did, and unsure of how they'd fit with the robots too. But yeah, I've only culled 2 cows out of 90, and one of them you wouldn't milk in a herringbone anyway. She had an attitude problem, and the other one was a 3-titter and low on milk anyway. So we can't really say they've culled anything for because of the robots, like because of teat placement or others really. There's been nothing. There's been a few that sort of took a little bit more effort than others, like when they first calved down, like probably a bit too bagged up a bit too much and not the best teat placement, but they've all come right and going bloody good.
So let's jump 150 kilometres down the road onto the Fleurieu Peninsula. And we've got Asher here, who is a third generation on a farm in Mount Compass. So if you introduce yourself, Asher.
Hey, Asher Jacobs. We've got probably 2 family farms in a bit of a partnership down at Mount Compass on the Fleurieu Peninsula in South Australia. We run probably at the moment 450 cows through 8 robots on the dairy platform, on our dairy platform. Then Wild Man initially made a partnership with another guy called Perrin Hicks, who's got 350-ish cows running through probably a 15-a-side herringbone, I think it is. That's about where we are. We've got 180 hectares or so on the dairy platform for our robotic. We've been in this partnership for probably 10 years now. It's been pretty beneficial for us. We put them in March this year. It's been doing what it's been doing. Probably took 6-7 months to settle. Didn't have all heifers like Heath to be able to play with. A lot more trouble, a lot more experience with teaching old stubborn cows, but by and large they will come good after 3 weeks. And
you and your family sort of started investigating robotic milking quite a few years ago?
We probably had our eye on it for a long time, at least 5 or 6 years. That was probably always something that I personally had an interest in. The real early mornings and the real late nights, especially with kids, started to drag on a bit. Like it'd be 3:30, same with every farm really, 3:30 in the morning or finishing at after 7, even after 8, a lot of the time at night in the middle of winter with sort of the full herd cranking. Just with young kids, just started to really drag on. So we probably had our eye on it for a long time and just need proof of concept, which probably helped when a certain neighbour down the road put him in first, Jake, which you might want to introduce yourself.
I'm Jake Connor, and I'm basically neighbouring Asher's place at Mount Compass, and I'm a 4th generation dairy farmer at Mount Compass, and we've also got 2 dairies, and both of them have got Lely robots. We've had one farm with 6 robots since 2021, so 3 years now, and we did the second farm with 8 robots in October 2023. So we've got a good little pocket of robot farms developing around that Mount Compass region, but also in the broader South Australian dairy industry. Like, we're a small part of the Australian dairy industry, but we're also a very innovative part of the industry. And like we've seen in other areas amongst Australia, robotics do develop in certain pockets. So I'm pretty excited about how robots can really take off for this South Australian industry. Do you have any thoughts on that, Heath?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, and I think with sort of reasonable milk prices. Although this year's sort of a little bit shaky for us, but I think with a bit of you can see a bit of a future in it, and the way that labour costs and availability are going, I think robots are a bit of a no-brainer if you need to do something. If you're looking at your existing infrastructure and say, right, well, I've got to do something, I think you have to. You'd be silly not to investigate and quote up robots. Really, the price really hasn't changed a hell of a lot in the last, 5 or even 10 years. Like they're sort of probably more cost effective now with the price of labour and the price of anything else than they ever have been. I think that's probably a big thing when you sort of stack them up against a rotary or stack them up against what you're paying in labour, like you can do the numbers and it looks pretty favourable in towards the robots. And then you got to look at all the other benefits of robots that you're getting as well for your money. So
I guess that's a good point, because like the technology of robots is proven all around the world, and been milking cows for over 20 years now. And I guess in Australia, it still feels like a new idea, and it still feels like, as a farmer, particularly when you're early adopting into a certain region, it feels like you're taking a leap of faith. But like it is proven, and when you get some other farms around you and you build a cluster, and we see in other regions of Australia, they've even got robotic focused discussion groups now, that they've got a larger number of farms. And I guess the point that trying to get across is, like what you said, have a look at it. If you've got any sort of doubts of your current infrastructure and looking into spending any sort of money on your dairy, it is worthwhile to sit down and have a proper look, and robots being a real option for you.
At least go to Laley and get a quote, and there's other farms too that are not quite ready. The infrastructure might not be shagged, but they're having labour issues too. And you got to look at that too. I don't know what what everyone's sort of spending on labour these days, but
it's not even just the cost. No one lives to just go out there and have to be sitting in a milking shed for their entire life, 24 hours a day, go home and sleep, get up, do it all again. You got to have a bit of a life out of there, especially with kids. A lot of people these days got kids coming along, or older kids. Especially for us, we were getting caught in the dairy for long hours, morning, night, probably over 4 in the morning, over 3.5 at night. It's just, you need that flexibility to be able to do something. No kid growing up these days outside of an actual dairy family is going to look at it and go, that looks great. Let's get up at 3:30 in the morning and finish at 8 o'clock at night. You go to robots, and generally our hours run between 7 and 5, and you can, if you got something important on, you can put off some stuff, go to the important thing and work around it. You can go early, you can go later. Just makes life a lot more flexible. And you're not reliant, and you're not at the behest of staff members falling sick or going on holidays and all that sort of stuff that's important for everyone. Makes it a little bit harder to go on holidays yourself early on, but give it another year.
And I guess each farmer has a different goal or objective when they're looking at robotic milking, and different things that are important to them. So for you, Asher, lifestyle and family life, and a different way of dairy farming to improve that moving forward. And for your next generation of family, it was of great importance to you. I know Heath's mentioned to me in the past that robots don't mean no labour, but you still require labour, and you're still going to require a staff force, but it's a better job for that staff force.
It's a better job, but then you can sort of target the right people. I guess you're not sort of at the mercy of needing someone to fill a gap just to put cups on. You can get someone that's going to come in and do a good job and do what you want, and I think you can retain them longer too. Obviously there's no labour employed on the robot farm. On my robot farm, it's just myself and my partner. But I can sort of see where it would fit in on a larger scale operation too. It would definitely, you'd be able to ask a lot more of your employees. I think you'd be able to expect everything to be done right. Every time. There's sort of no excuses. You're not asked.
There's less fatigue.
You're not sort of having someone that's been there since 4 a.m. and finished at 7:30 at night, and then you're expecting them to do everything they're supposed to do and not miss anything. So I think you can sort of expect more of your workers and keep them happy and retain them as well. And
Not to say there's no fatigue. Every now and then something happens, but
Still
every now and then something happens without robotic. So
yeah, still a dairy farm at the end of the day, and we all know that's never going to be easy.
Yeah. But I think there would be, so we milk, with my parents, we have 550 cows, milking twice a day on that farm. And I think if we went to robots there, that's through a 20 unit swing over herringbone. I think if we went to robots there would be a massive labour saving, probably 150 to 200 grand a year in labour saving. So, I mean, that pays a lot of interest too.
that's...
And there also would be quite a significant milk increase too.
Yep.
Because they're full TMR herd. So I think the extra milkings that they would get out of robots there would be there'd be significantly more milk as well.
So you're both pretty young in your robotic journey, or only have started up this year. So Asher, how did you experience that startup process?
I think every time everyone's asked me, it's just like having another kid, except this time I'm the mother instead of being able to just sit back and just vaguely help on the sidelines. Like, you go through the initial thing of just the first week or so, it's just, you just got to keep going in. Like, you go in, for us, we pre-trained really heavily. We had luckily had our pre-milk at the exit of the old herringbone. So we just let them out for about a week and they walked through the robots. I think we got 2 or 3 days worth of feeding grain in there as well. That did a lot to help us get through the first couple of days. And from there, you sort of start to get away. So by day 4 or so, 3 or 4, we're able to sit at the back of the yard and 90% of the herd walk through the robots. You'd still have stubborn cows for 3 weeks, but like, a lot of it just came down to, if you need to go in, you go in. If you can let the cows do it themselves, you let them do it themselves. But you just got to be ready to go in whenever that may be. I think we had one long night where we ended up having to change the yard the next day when we realised that just something wasn't quite going to work as we'd hoped. But after that, went probably better than expected. Heath?
Yeah. Well, I sort of didn't start with many at all, so it was pretty cruisy actually. There was a bit nervous because it's all new, but it went very well. But also, like, I was only a few weeks before you, Asher.
Yeah.
So I was getting filled in, and obviously there was sort of catching up with with Jess from Laley and Dennis and the guys. They keep me pretty well updated in what was going on in your place as well.
Yeah,
and
you hear more than me.
I think from everything that I've heard, the pre-training was very beneficial. So I would definitely, if I was going to do something again or do the home farm, I think the pre-training would be if you can do it, like if you can have it so you can run your cows through.
It makes a big difference. And if nothing else, even more than the robots, it's the damn grazeways, getting them through them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you went with heifers through them, but that was still a bit of an issue problem for us. I think we only had them turned on a day or two beforehand, and just them learning to have to stick their head into bars within a couple of inches of some metal bars for it to open, that took a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's definitely takes a bit for the cows to work out. Obviously, being free cow traffic and voluntary milking, and the cows have to get out of that mindset of how they've been milked over their whole life. So there's a fair bit of a learning curve there, but probably equally as much as a learning curve for the people.
Yep, definitely.
that we see as well.
Saying that, similar to you, like, we had a bunch that had blood. We sort of carved 3 times a year sort of thing. We just finished one calving as we were starting up. So all our fresh heifers, they were running the system within about 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of seeing where that works pretty well. Like, for the first 2 months, I reckon my fresh heifers outperformed my fresh cows, probably somewhat significantly. Like they just ran within 2 or 3 days. They were just running the system.
So how did you guys end up with Laley? So it was in South Australia. Laley typically hadn't had a presence, but it does now with a Laley centre on the Fleurieu Peninsula through Robotic Milking South Australia. So I guess you took a leap of faith in trusting that setup and trusting that service.
Yep. Yeah. Well, sort of had a good feeling for the guys anyway, because they obviously well before startup we had a fair bit to do with Dennis and Craig and the guys from Robotic Milking SA.
Who were originally the electricians around probably servicing your farm?
Well, we hadn't had anything to do with them beforehand.
Okay.
But yeah, sort of got a pretty good idea pretty well straight away that they were on the ball. Yeah. Like they kept the show on the road. Yep. Like if something needed doing, they'd do it, and they sort of kept me on my toes through the whole process. So like I was saying earlier today, we've sort of done a number of projects like on the home farm over the last bloody 10 or 15 years, and dealt with different contractors and different companies and that, and none of them have even come close to Laley and to what Dennis and Robotic Milking SA did for us.
Yeah.
Like they were brilliant. Which is sort of what you need too, because you're going into the unknown. You need someone there that you can trust to hold your hand, I reckon. So, and
yeah,
I did that. So no, I was stoked with them.
We looked pretty hard early on. We probably similar to a lot of people. Like we looked through the different brands, went through due process, went down all the pathways, got a quote from everyone. We had been probably in discussions with Laley for a few years. Like we'd had them out to the farm to just concept plan where we'd think about putting it sort of a few times over the years, and just, well, I'd been saying for 4 years leading up to it really, that if the old dairy burnt down, we're just putting robots up. We're not even looking at anything else. We're just looking at what type. Jake getting him first with Laley next door probably gave him the inside running, because you go over there and you've already got the start of your little service hub with one farmer, and they're able to prove that everyone helps out and that it's all really good, and that's always a nice start. We always felt that Laley was probably just a bit ahead of the curve of everyone else in terms of the robotics, just the bells and whistles probably a bit more in front of the rest, and maybe the full integration of all the other parts were generally pretty good. And as you said, we had pretty good faith in the support team.
Yeah.
But yeah. I suppose on that, since Jake was the first one, why did you choose Laley?
For me, I guess it was about that comfort level. So I think it was, being the first in the region, you do feel like you're taking a big leap of faith going into robots, which now that I've been there for 3 years, and also getting to see things through my Laley job, and you see how well established robots are around the world. That's not really the case, but at that point in time when you haven't got anyone close by you milking the robots, you do feel like you're taking a leap of faith in the system. So for me it was that established brand that's been pioneering robots, particularly in a grazing system. So I just felt that level of comfort. If we were going to take the leap of faith into robotic milking, I felt like Laley was the right choice to head down, and I've never once doubted that decision, because certainly been very impressed right from day one. So now you're both experienced dairy farming with robots. If you could pick out one thing that's really surprised you.
Like there's been a number of things. Probably the extra milk. Well, it's probably not so much things that have surprised me, but things that I've been told, but thought, we'll see. So the extra milk, probably surprised by the, and this is sort of one of my questions that I asked most of the farms that I went on. And no one sort of really gave me a straight answer. And I can kind of understand why. But it was how many times do you get called up out of bed in the middle of the night? And that surprised me that I haven't been called up out of bed in the middle of the night hardly at all in the last sort of 8 months, 8 or 9 months. So that was sort of one of the concerns, I guess. And you do hear people, other farmers, conventional farmers, sort of worry about that. So the fact that you can kind of just let them go, like just let the robots go and do it, and know that
helps that you've only got 2 robots there.
Yeah, but you only sort of had one with startup, and it was pretty. Yeah, it's been pretty good, I think. Yeah, it's been really good.
I reckon I get one a fortnight, maybe.
One a fortnight, yeah.
And half the time that's before I go to sleep anyway. And I haven't had anything that you don't walk in and you're home half hour later, really.
Yeah.
A lot of times just reset a robot, or I think I had to change the liner once.
Yeah.
That was about it.
About it, yep. I know, we had one or two early on when we still had the cords on the cups before we went to chains.
Yep.
But once we went to chains, bloody brilliant.
Yeah, but I think you're right. A lot of overthinking goes into not even just the night call-outs, but what happens if I have a robot go down, and so much stress about can we get it up running again? How quick's it going to take? What's the response time to get it going? But
well, for Heath, that actually was a big deal.
It was when you had one robot.
Yeah. When I had one robot, it was a bit of a worry. But it was sort of only really had a few teething issues in the first 2 weeks, and that was it. Since then, sort of haven't. Second one's gone in, and haven't had any issues at all. So, if someone said to me like, "What's the average?" Times I get called up in the middle of the night, it would be like once every 3 or 4 months, I reckon.
Yep. And
not even.
And from my experience, when you do get a call, it's a lot less stressful than the call at 3:30 in the morning saying we can't get the platform to spin. Because that one is a stressful call.
That's it.
These days you just answer the phone and go, all right, let's see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, generally, like we don't sort of get those calls on the conventional farm, Jake, but we'll get can't make it to milk in the morning at 2:00 in the morning. Do you know? So I'll if I wake up and check my phone, that's generally what I'm checking, not the robots.
Yeah, that's painful.
So before closing this episode, we'll do a couple of Q&As. So being South Australian and proud football state, what footy team do you guys follow?
I got Crows.
Yeah, same Crows. Crows. Yeah,
that's good. I'm Crows too, so it's glad we don't have any Port Adelaide supporters in the room. What is your first job ever, you guys?
Farm.
Yeah, milking cows.
Yep, both. Yep. All lifelong dairy farmers.
Yep.
Yeah.
On family farms.
Yep.
I mean, I detoured to uni for a few years, but ended up back.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah,
it is a great life, really.
Yeah.
And if you were in charge of the innovation team at Lely, what product would you invent?
Yeah, I was sort of hoping I had a bit of time to think about that. But probably collars that I've been able to find the collars. Like there is the odd times when I would like to control the arm, like on a new heifer.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably...
To stop pulling the cup off when it just slips that tiny bit.
Yeah, probably to someone wrote a hack or something for me just so I could just to control the arm, just to hold the cups on a little bit longer on a new heifer. And no issue with the robots, but probably trying to put heifers in there that are probably bagged up a bit too tight. And jumping around a bit, just to sort of take control for bloody 10 seconds. That would probably be one.
Yeah, most of my ideas are probably just horizon type things. It's a good program, but there's just a lot of stuff in Australia that we need on there that, because it's more of a European program that we're just hijacking, you just need a few more extra sort of things on it that suit our systems a bit nicer. Just things as simple as, like, you can get average litres over a week per cow, but you can't get average solids for over the week for the cow. So comparing cow to cow just makes it a little bit tough in that regard. Just little things like that just suit Australia a bit better.
Yeah, the stuff suiting Australia is a big topic because we're so small in the world market. So the more robots we get, the more say that we get into that product development. But
yeah, we're just, it is what it is. We're just hijacking the guys that have all the robots. Yeah, we're using it for how we want it.
So thanks, guys. So we're going to take a break now, but it's not the last that we're going to hear from Asher and Heath, because we're going to follow this episode up with another episode of the Dairy Experience podcast. So thanks for listening, and we'll hear from you guys on the next episode, which will be an episode focused on grazing.
Thanks for having us, Jake.
Sir.